Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? I apologize for still playing Devil Jin. I was on a 5 win streak, and it felt right to continue it. But overall, my anime faithful, we have a new banger anime, and I had very, very high hopes. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I saw this show's trailer a couple times, and the friend that she's was talking to on the phone early in this episode and like texting, I can't wait to see where this show is actually going to go. If there's going to be a weird plot thing going on in the background, or if it's just going to be kind of this carefree, not knowing what she's doing, but doing a lot of things for the world without even telling. So we'll see how this all plays out, but we are introduced to the New World Online. And I apologize for the title at first. I need some suggestions of what people are gonna put for their titles, like to shorten it, because this title is going to be ridiculously long. So I apologize for that. And I'm not trying to mislead anybody to get them into this not thinking it's a review. And I just lost my streak. um, but regardless of all that, these this show starts off with our girl pretty much learning what weapon is going to fit her personality or going to fit her in this game in general. And for some reason, she just happens to be just like me and wants to go with the straight up sword and shield route, which I respect it. The only thing I don't like about it is quote unquote a short sword. Why can't it just be a long sword? Like why can't we why can't we just have a decent sized sword? It had to be a short one. But it makes sense with how ridiculously broken defensive characters are in this game, which I have some questions about it further going in, because at this point we know that the person that saw her laying on the ground passed out in meditation, quote unquote, um, he has a shield as well. And does that mean that he is, capable of being that? He was capable of being that powerful if he went the defensive route. You know what I'm saying? So that's what this show is kind of introducing, and it's scary and cool at the same time because guess what? Now that all of this is coming to a head, yeah, Car, welcome to the video. Now that this is coming to a head, we can see what other skills are going to do maybe later, because with her defense and her vitality, her life being so freaking high, she it takes forever for her to pass away. So when she goes into this dungeon and actually starts taking this damage, I saw a comment after reading this, and they're like, "Oh, so she's people say that she's in immortal, or not immortal, but overpowered because she takes no damage. She nullifies all damage." And then he's like, "Oh, but then it shows that she can take damage. That doesn't make any sense." Well, here's how it makes sense. The reason why she can take damage is because physical damage, magical damage, having sickness, confusion, all these different stuff like that, they're all separate categories. So, with that being said, if it's separate from all of those things, she can only nullify physical damage until she starts to build up this poison resistance, until she starts actually being able to withstand these things because she's experienced them. That's when she becomes completely a null of power. I kind of don't understand why people believe that a show would start out completely like that. Like the show starts and she could take no damage for the rest of her life. That is episode 1. Like, where do you think the show goes from there? I've always questioned like people that jump to the worst conclusions of like of a situation. So it cracked me up to see that. But overall, we're going to have a very carefree girl who, seeing a bunny, she wants to just chill and have a good time learning what type of species and maybe even adopting it. But for some reason, the bunny doesn't want to play nice. The bunny is not a nice bunny, and it was trying to take her out. It really wanted that XP from her. And because she is so oblivious, that was the only reason why she survived that fight that day. She turns her head because some birds start flying out, and she's like, "Oh, what the?" And then turns her shield, and just because it touches the shield instead of hitting her stomach, it dies. It is dead. um, I don't know where this show as a whole is gonna go. Sorry, I just hit the mic. I don't know where it's gonna go as a whole, but that's the point. That's what this episode was supposed to show. And it was also supposed to showcase that she's still a kid going to school in the background, and she can't stay on all day and night, and she can actually only get on towards the night after getting off school, supposedly. So there's a huge gap of time now that they're building up for other characters, like, people who don't have to go to school and whatnot, can straight up be grinding all day and all night while they're still, doing their day-to-day life, losing out on that time, which I think is awesome. I think that's like the coolest little background nugget that maybe I don't think a lot of people might even bring that up. So let me know if you guys watch reviews before mine and if people actually talk about what it means for her to actually get off the game and have a set amount of time she can put in the case of how strong people can get in the time that she's gone, right? So that's kind of where my brain starts to go with these shows. Not only that, she gets to go into this dungeon and finally gets to, showcase what the show's kind of going to be revolving around with her armor and whatnot. But did you guys see how the poison resistance thing worked? Like, it worked pretty slow and fast at the same time when it came down to her first experience with it. It was weak, then moderate, so it was going to take a while. But she is so intelligent and so, like, mischievous. She just lays on the ground and she's like, "Oh no, poison's gonna kill me." Ah! And she's just she's, oh my god, she is so adorably like intelligent. Um, and when it came down to figuring out if I allow this the weakest of the weak hit me with the poison and build it up as much as I can or until it gets boring, oh, I will be ready for something much stronger. Which, come to find out, when she needed to buy a shield or she wanted to buy a shield and like armor and stuff like that, it came out that she can straight up go and fight a poisonous place somewhere that's catered to her specialty. And the guy who pretty much brought her into the shop to allow her to get like upgrades and stuff like that is pretty concerned in the case of like she wouldn't go out and try to do a whole dungeon by herself, would she? Like, she's not that nuts. And sure enough, she does a whole dungeon by herself, losing her weapon mid-fight and straight up having sharp teeth. And since she can't die easy, what does she do? She straight up just starts eating this monster and starts to learn stuff. Where does that sound familiar? Where does that sound familiar? So there's so many really cool elements in here that she can probably save the whole entire world without even knowing it by beating a monster that was supposed to be unbeatable by eating it almost now at this point. So she's level 18 and already practically the strongest defensive person in this game. So I can't wait to see what the heck is going on in the case of the world, everything that's building upon this show. Let me know what you guys think is going to be possible, because I mean, clearly she's going to have her friend that she's talking to, she's supposedly going to pass her and stuff. So is there just going to be, like, for instance, she goes to a dungeon, and that's all I wanted in Kimito's Sword Arts run, right? Like, I just wanted him to go dungeon after dungeon after dungeon, find some friends, be cool, dungeon after dungeon, and actually get up to the floors that was supposed to be there. I hope this show learn from people's past mistakes of how shows have gone, or just how fans have felt about the potential wasted in shows. Because remember, I'm a Log Horizon fan as well, and seeing shows like this just make me cry a little bit inside, knowing that Log Horizon is still not finished in the way that it should be. So I hope you guys are having an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be when you're watching this. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I got back to my 4-win streak after losing it. But I definitely will be talking to you guys very soon. A lot of stuff comes out on Wednesday, it looks like, so prepare for your boy to drop a lot of Wednesday content, and I will talk to you in the next one. Peace.